Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for once again joining the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast. It is yours truly, the Drip King, fresh off the Wrestle Buddy War Games, Buddy War, whatever you want to call it, Quiz Buddy stuff. If you saw that earlier, if you didn't, go check it out when you're done with this. But again, it's the Positively Awesome Wrestling, and I am joined, as always, by the best wrestling fan on Twitter, Tidey. Tidey, how are you doing this weekend, buddy?
Feeling good, man. I'm relaxed. I got rest and sleep, and I'm ready for my favorite fictional matches of WrestleMania because this shit ain't gonna happen, but I want it to happen.
Hey, like that one kid said in Angels in the Outfield, I think that's the movie. It could happen. Just keep that in mind, man. Just keep that. Let's see. We got David things this week that were positively awesome. He's going to give us his list. He got watching the ending of one of the best trilogies ever. I cannot wait to watch that match. I'm still so mad that I didn't watch it live. 2 match of the year candidates, Alexander versus Bailey and FTR versus Briscoes 3, the relaunch of Honor Club, Athena's first world title, wrestlers being able to show up anywhere. There's a lot of wrestlers about to show up just literally anywhere and everywhere. So that's going to be crazy. So I didn't get to see. I saw pieces of the Alexander Bailey match, and it was pretty good. The FTR Briscoes ones, I hope that they put the trilogy, hopefully on the Ring of Honor. I would imagine it'll be on the Ring of Honor Club app that they're going to do. They're going to start running AEW television on an app.
Oh,
so that's good. That's good news because I hope the whole library ends up on there because I've been dying to watch old shit, and I want them to make things where I can watch the entire trilogy back to back to back. So that's the kind of stuff I want. Hopefully we get that with the app. Hello, babe. Hello. Looking good as always. Thank you very much. And you too. But we're going to switch it up this week. I think we're going to talk about the title subject first, and then we'll talk about what we were most excited about for the week. I'm going to switch it up. I know you was prepared, but now I just threw you I don't know.
Our minds are the same. I was thinking the same thing, Jimmy.
Awesome. That means it was probably the right thing to do then. We'll just go back and forth. And I'm going to let you go first, then I'll go, and then we'll do all 3 of them. But I want to point out with mine, I made sure not to do matches that I have kind of been talking. I didn't want to put Austin and Brock on there, even though I really want to see it. I didn't put the 4-way for the with the 4 horsewomen, Sasha, Charlotte, and Bailey, and and Becky. I didn't want to do that because everyone always talks about it. So I tried to think outside the box and give something a little different with my choices. But if you don't know, we're talking about matches that we want to see happen at this year's WrestleMania. How they get there, I don't know. Maybe we'll break it down, but I just want to see them. So with that, Tidey, I'm gonna let you go first. Match numero uno that you want to see at WrestleMania.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the title stuff, like what's going on with the titles. I'll ask you a question later if we have time then on that.
Oh no, we'll get to it.
Okay, so first match I want to see. So I'm gonna say it differently because I wanted it to be Bailey versus Becky. Why? Okay. Because I think they can have 2 fights before this. 3rd fight, squash it, lose it. I want Bailey to get at least 1 win because she hasn't won.
She's been doing great work getting people over, though. All the props to Bailey. Even if it's come across as flat sometimes, she's putting in the work. She's doing her damnedest. So
I want Bailey versus Becky, even though it's probably going to be Becky versus Ronda. I, again, wanted to switch it up because I think no one builds a better way to it. But my other one, which I had to decline, would have been Charlotte versus Bailey, a passing of the torch, because I don't care what people say. Bailey's still in her mid-30s or early 30s. People don't know that. People all think she's like way older for some reason. Like she's got mileage to go. Charlotte, late 30s. Pass the torch, man.
I think another thing that matters is I know this might sound bad to say, but it all kind of depends on when they want to start families as well. Because unfortunately, there is a timetable for women that makes it harder once they reach that. So if like that's not something that Bailey has interest in, then she could go into the 6-7 years, whatever. That's a thing.
That is.
It really gets that those things kind of factor in. Unfortunately, that's something I'm not trying to be some kind of asshole. But it is a fact. Unfortunately,
afterwards, I don't care. Have the man watch the baby. Let the woman go and wrestle. I'm all for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Talking about breadwinner, talking about Charlotte, talking about Becky, talking about Bailey, but luckily they both wrestle and somehow they have somebody watching the kid in the back.
I think Becky and who's the other one that just had a baby? Sorry, and Candice. I think they're showing people that it can be done. Yeah, so maybe what I just said won't even fucking matter. Maybe that'll be the case. I tend to talk some stupid shit sometimes, but Becky and Candice are definitely showing you that, hey, it doesn't matter. We can still do this full time. I mean, Becky was just in a War Games match, so that was crazy. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I want Bailey versus Becky at WrestleMania to kind of prove who's technically better. I think Becky is the best at building a match, building up to a match, doing her promos. She can really bring people's promos out of them.
Yeah.
I thought she did. She brought a lot out of Bianca because Bianca's, people say it kind of says the same thing, but I thought she was great firing back at Becky and brought up some reality stuff. I know Bailey can do that. And, you know, if I can't get any other mixture of 4 horsewomen, I at least want those two, even though it's probably going to be versus Ronda. I can dream. And I want it.
You can't, like I said, it could happen.
But yeah, that's my one, unless you got something to say about it. But
no, I'll say this. You mentioned Becky's the best at like kind of building a match and all that.
The best.
And I'm glad, like, this isn't just women's division. You think she's the best?
No, the best. I mean, if she did it with Doudrop, Bianca, even her going spiraling crazy, it was still part of a build and a story. Okay. So it's got whatever. I think she's the best, period.
I'm agreeing with you. And I just want to clarify before I stuck my foot in my mouth and put words in yours. I think Becky's the best. And if we're talking about in the women's division, I think Bayley's the second best at doing that. So to have them, give them the time to have a program. I don't want to, maybe one time before WrestleMania, but I don't want them to have like this one where I don't want it to be at a pay-per-view because I feel like they'd go all out. I wanted to have a match and then just let it continue to build over the next few months somehow, some way where it doesn't get boring, and have their blow-off match be at Mania. Have that big match at Mania for the first time. I think that would be much cooler because this is the one I like originally wanted, but when you kind of see timelines going, it's like, that's not the way they're going to go. So, yeah. And when Bayley had nothing at the WrestleMania 2 years ago, Becky was ready to go. And she goes, yo, can I do something with Bayley? She wanted to get Bayley on the show because Bayley had earned it, deserved it. And she just didn't get the opportunity, which sucks because people can talk about Roman and Sasha all they want, Drew, whatever. Bayley was the MVP of the Thunderdome, hands down. Like,
oh my God. Yeah.
And then she gets injured before she gets to do anything in front of a crowd. So that sucks. Her and Becky at that moment, I think, could have told probably a really cool story. So I don't think it'll happen at Mania, but I'm only saying that because I think there's plenty of other matches for Becky that will go over that one. This being one of them that I'm agreeing with David. This isn't one of my matches because, again, it's one that kind of gets talked about, and I wanted to give people a new flavor for their ear. But I do think this is one that's going to happen. Becky and Ronda get the belt off of Ronda and then say goodbye to her until she's ready to come start selling better for these other ladies. That's what I got to say about it. So you said Becky and Bayley. He's saying Becky and Ronda. I'm not mad at either of those. I don't have Becky in mind. So that would have been kind of a crazy trifecta if we all had a match for Becky. But my first one, I'll stick with the ladies here. I want to see Alexa Bliss and Trish Stratus. And I'm saying this one again. I went completely. I really tried to go outside the box here.
Yeah, you did.
Trish and Alexa have the closest to identical like ways to get to where they're at. They both started off kind of as body fitness ladies. They came in with no knowledge of anything. They've grown and they've gotten better than I think anybody would have ever thought they would have. I think their trajectories are identical, like flat out identical. Now, the only problem I have with that is I don't want it to happen if Alexa Bliss is going to be doing like Firefly Funhouse Alexa. if she snaps back to the what's she called? The goddess. If you give me the goddess Alexa Bliss and then Trish Stratus, I think that would be a really fun match. And again, as we discovered a few weeks ago through just talking it out, WrestleMania is a celebration of wrestling. So I don't mind Trish Stratus coming into this moment and putting over Alexa. We get to celebrate Trish, who is one of the greatest of all time in the women's division. And again, I think the similarities are really good. And we already have women's matches that I think are going to happen. I'm all for getting as many on their card as you can without it being overkill. And this is one that I think could fit on this card, because you're going to have a really big match to fit on this year's card. It's a very big show. Like, we already know a lot of stuff has happened, and there's a lot of big names that are going to be here. Trish Stratus gets Alexa Bliss on the show, and I think it would be an interesting program.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they also had the table for three thing, where they actually sat down, ate dinner when they do the table for three on,
they did one together?
Yeah. And dude, you should have seen the praise that Trish gave to Alexa. I think it was more of like the other girls like not giving Alexa enough credit, and Trish was like, "Look what you've done, and the fact of how you did it, and you become champ this many times, etc." Trish gave Alexa some mad props, and I can't even quote it correctly, but it was damn good.
Who was the third member?
I think it was Lita. I think it was Lita, Trish, and Alexa.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
No, it was good.
I'll have to check that one out.
They were praising Alexa.
Yeah, I have to check it, because I think this match was supposed to happen at Revolution, but then Alexa Evolution. Yeah, sorry. But Alexa got injured, so she didn't get to take a part of it, and then her tag team ended up taking on Trish and Lita. So that's what ended up happening there. So it's obviously something that WWE has thought of in the past. So I would have honestly never thought of it had that not happened. Like, had I never seen Trish and Lex, I wouldn't have think that was a match I wanted to see. But I sit here and think about it, and I'm like, yeah, that would actually, that's one of the ones that would actually make sense when you're bringing back these old people to face the new people. It makes sense to me because of their similarities.
Yeah, that's a good point you brought up, man.
Yeah. So now we will go to the second match that you personally need to happen on this card. What you got for your number two?
As much as I didn't, and I wanted to say Seth versus Carmelo Hayes, I have to go with Sheamus versus Gunther. I want Sheamus to win that damn IC title. I want it to be at WrestleMania. I want him to be celebrated, not just at Cardiff. Because both times it wasn't exactly a clean pin, except for the at Cardiff, but all the other times, I mean, Sheamus was just so damn close.
He thought he had beat him with the tap out. Like, they've had great matches and great story. I could see that happening, Sheamus and Gunther at WrestleMania.
You got to reward Sheamus with something. I mean, he's only the brute for forever. I mean, no one.
He's giving him banger after banger after banger after banger. Like, you got to give him something.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bobby Lashley in a sense, but Sheamus's matches go wild, dude. Like, he's putting on some real wrestling in there.
Yes.
Award that man something. It's the one title he doesn't have, and I think it's fitting that he takes it from Gunther, the unbeatable, because it really gives the credit of who's the toughest SOB in wrestling.
Yeah,
it's going to officially be Sheamus, and I think he's earned that throughout his career, especially the last 3 years. So,
and I don't think Gunther loses any kind of momentum by losing it. So Sheamus is one of those opponents where, he's the one that dethroned Gunther. I can see that because Sheamus is a guy that I feel like he's presented as a guy that on any given day could beat anybody on the roster. Yeah. Is he going to beat them all the time? No. But if the planets align just right for this man, he could beat anyone, and it's believable. So Gunther could just graduate up to the next step and go for the top title, which I definitely see him doing immediately after he loses that IC title.
Yep.
My only thing is I don't want him to lose it. I mean, I want him to hold it for almost 2 years.
What? The IC title for 2 years? But,
yes.
Dude, he's all right. So here.
Because before it's a workhorse title, and he is a villain. And if a villain is doing the workhorse gimmick, it kind of makes him look scary because it's like, yo, with other heel champions, they kind of play the card of not wanting to defend it, play kind of chicken shit, or
he's not
like,
doing that. You're right.
Like with Roman, he'll be like, I'll just do it when I want. But with Gunther, it's like, yeah, I'll fight anybody and I'll beat you down. You have a guy who holds that title doing that thing for that long. It's like, oh, fuck. This guy is dangerous. So that when he beats a Roman Reigns for the title, it's not like you're like, oh, they kind of force this on us. It's like, no, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense that he just dominated him, because he's kind of been doing that forever. So
for years.
Yeah. but if he was to lose to Sheamus at WrestleMania, I'm not mad. Not at all. I think it would be a cool moment for Sheamus. I think he's earned it with the work rate he's put in lately. So that's not a bad one.
We're gonna switch this up, man. What's gonna happen is Ricochet is going to beat Gunther by cheating, and he turns heel just so Sheamus can win the Intercontinental Championship off him. We're gonna switch it up, man.
Bro, we are not having Gunther lose to Ricochet. Not this version of Ricochet. No, sir. You better give me a much, much better version of Ricochet for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. David says, my number 2 is Bayley versus Mia Yim. As you guys just stated, you want to get someone over the...
Mia, yeah.
Familiar with that does this. Yeah. And I'm not against this match at all. I think it would be great. And again, Bayley would get her over. If Bayley wasn't able to get her over, I think that tells you everything you need to know about Mia Yim's run. Nothing against her, just it ain't gonna work here. Because if Bayley can't get something out of you, that's bad. That's very, very, very bad. So my only thing is Mia Yim isn't a name. And as I said, I'm really all in on this celebration of wrestling where you got to get the biggest and the most recognizable money pushers that you got to just make this as extravagant as possible. And with all these big names we're hearing about, along with storylines that we see progressing already, I don't know if Bayley and Mia Yim would make the card. Just because of that. I think it's a fantastic program. And you might even just do it anyway during the season, and maybe there's a kickoff show. I don't know. Maybe Triple H brings that back. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the one that's happening on Raw that takes precedent over all the other ones because all the other ones are finishing up at WrestleMania. So make kind of like the Dexter Miz, how it was a program that was going into the pay-per-view, but they said, no, we're going to give you the finale on Raw. Everything else will be on this. So you do that with Bayley and Mia Yim during WrestleMania season. I think that's just as good for Mia Yim. I just don't see it at WrestleMania. Again, if all the names we're getting are going to be there, sorry, Mia, you're not there yet. I'll give it that. Hey, what up? Jamie Noble is having his last match in his hometown. That's tonight. That's cool. I hope he gets the win. He better get the win. I used to love Jamie Noble. The dude was funny with his little redneck gimmick. Okay, so I know I said I was going to think outside the box, but I had 3 matches to choose from. And with one of those matches, you'd be a fool if you didn't think I was going to somehow sneak in Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the WWE title. That's my second match that I want to see at WrestleMania. And it's not even a fact of wanting to see it. I need to see this match. I need to see this match happen. And everything is aligning to where it could happen.
Yeah.
Like, Sammy is never going to be hotter than he is right now. He just isn't. And Kevin Owens is always going to be a guy that the fans are completely behind. We know they have great matches. We know that there's stories to tell. We know that Sami Zayn could get that WWE title off of Roman Reigns before the show. Make it happen. There will never, if they were to do this, if this was to somehow happen, I don't think they could ever give me a match on a WrestleMania ever again that I'd be more happy with. That's how badly I want to see this match at WrestleMania.
No, it would be the most talked about. I mean, because like, if you have Rock and Roman, if you have, Austin going around, Brock's going around, which will probably Brock versus Lashley. I mean, settle it before that. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you have those bigger names, I mean, you got to have one big match that sticks out for the hardcore wrestling fans. Like, we want this. So I think that will make us happy. So let's see if Triple H aligns the stars before WrestleMania happens to make this happen for us. And I'm really hoping Montreal is a good time.
Bro,
please just say it is.
They are going to hear me in Montreal. I've already settled this. I'm watching it outside on my big setup, and I'm apologizing to the neighbors beforehand. At about 10 o'clock, I'm gonna go crazy. You might want to check on me. You might just be like, "Hey, he's just celebrating," but it's going to happen. Oh, David, I hate you for that one. I do. But yeah, like I can't I can't word it anymore. That's how badly I want this match to happen. And I think I want it more than I've ever wanted it before because it's at our fingertips. It's like, yo, it could be a reality. I'm not like creating this in my own head as to how they could get there. It's literally already in front of us for how we get there. And it's like, give it to me. For all that is right in this world, give me this damn match.
It would be hella interesting, too, because if Sammy can win at the Elimination Chamber, I'm assuming Kevin Owens is going to be in that match as well.
Yeah.
Whether Kevin Owens kind of helps him or doesn't help him, doesn't matter. Kevin Owens is there. So at that point, Bloodline is already fully turned or about to turn.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Their
so now
is evident.
Kevin steps right into an interesting as hell storyline.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens can easily do that. With Sammy on the fence of like, I got to protect myself because they're trying to kill me. Solo is showing up at my front door. Stuff like that. So you add KO with it. KO be like, hey, I got your back. You're my best friend still.
You could literally.
But who knows? I mean, that could be so interesting.
Here's one for you. It's just literally a repeat of something they've done already on NXT. Sammy wins the title Elimination Chamber, and Kevin was the guy that got behind him and got him to rally up and fight back. And he's there to celebrate Sammy's moment because he's in the Elimination Chamber match as well. Maybe it comes down to him, Kevin Owens, Roman. Roman pins Kevin Owens, and then Sami Zayn pins Roman. That way he's not out. They celebrate, and it's like, oh, my God, it happened. And then Kevin Owens just says, you know what, you son of a bitch? I did it before, and I'll do it again. And then he just beats the hell out of Sami Zayn. And then that's literally all you have to do. That's not that too much to ask. Have Sami Zayn dethrone Roman Reigns and give Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn WWE title shot at WrestleMania. That's not too much for me to ask. I don't know. That's me.
Oh God. Or Kevin comes to Sami Zayn as they start picking on Sami and whooping Sami's ass because it's going to happen for weeks after if he gets that title off of him. And what Sammy's going to run to Raw for refuge, or eventually you're just going to see Kevin backing him up. And it doesn't mean that within a month Kevin doesn't just turn on his ass. It's very possible. Who knows? But I'm all for it, man. This will be the match of the night if they do this right with the story. Match of the night.
David's here to just deflate me 100% because his number 3 match that he has is Sami and Kevin versus the Usos. Sami and Kevin win the titles. Now, I will say this. The only reason I will hate this is because there is a much bigger and better story payoff for us to receive.
Thank you.
With that said, though, if they do something that makes me say, you know what, this is good, I'm not going to crap on it. I do want to see them win the tag titles because I think it should have happened already at least twice. It doesn't make sense that it hasn't happened. So for Kevin Owens to get his Grand Slam, I guess, because he never got the WWE title, he had the Universal, but they still, that's like one Grand Slam now. I don't know, but he would he would be a Grand Slam person at that point, and and he did it with Sami, so that's cool. There's a story that can be told that makes me say, "Yep, I was wrong. Fuck it. Let's watch it and be happy for him." again, it's not the story I really want to see, but that doesn't mean you can't persuade me into thinking, you know what, this is just as good. So you're with David on this one. Well, I just shunned both of you because I don't
Gordon, no.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the WWE title to make it happen, Captain.
Or you're not going to do that. Give me Sammy versus Roman, or give me KO versus Roman at WrestleMania. You're going to make me happy one of these ways. I mean, because both of them deserve a big Mania spot. That's what I think. So if you're not going to give me Sammy versus KO, at least give me one of them fighting Roman, or have the 3-way fight. That was my third pick, was a 3-way fight between all three of them. Come on, guys.
So
don't you be writing letters to WWE making this happen now. Y'all need to calm down, all of you.
So with that, third match, what you got for your third match?
You kind of stole it because it was going to be KO versus Sammy versus Roman.
I
was gonna have a 3-way in case Roman had to. It's the only way I could think to make Roman save a little face if he fought Rock and Knight too. You know, if he was truly doing double duty. So I wanted all three of them to hash it out and fight it out. Whether Sammy takes the title in Montreal, whether he gets bullshitted. That this is my backup plan. Is that I want those three for that would have been my third, and I could have picked other interesting things, but damn it, you already said it. Technically.
So no, I mean, you just built on it. You had a different match, and we talked about some, and then we built. Hey, that's good. We just saved a little bit of time. That's how I look at it. So with my third match, I literally just kind of pulled it out of nothing. With Triple H, I know he likes history, and he'll be the kind of guy that goes back and takes things and says, "Let's bring it now. Let's see how it's going to react now." And I want to see a tag team TLC match at WrestleMania, like back in the day.
Oh,
like I want to see that, and I want it to be a 4-way. The 3-way works great, but give me 4 because I think 4 teams deserve that spot. And obviously it gives the Usos this grand test. Like this would be their biggest test yet. So obviously they're there in that match. Then you have Street Profits, whom I would have dethroned them. That's me. But yes, I would have the Street Profits as your number 2. That way you have heel face. There's the dynamic right there. And I want to see Montez jump off the ladder. Call me crazy, but I want to see it happen.
The froggiest splash.
WrestleMania in a TLC 4 or 5. I think it would be 5. Yes, Montez Ford with the spot of the night. It would be fantastic. And then I put in Imperium because I think that they're just
worthy of that spot.
The Viking Raiders probably would be the name I put there, but I just don't see this thing taking off. I think they're going to fall flat on their face with this gimmick thing. I don't know what it is. I just saw it on SmackDown. And I was like, oh, yeah. It just doesn't do anything. Doesn't spark. So Imperium, they're fantastic. They're, in my opinion, they're going to be around, I guess, at WrestleMania, obviously, because they're with Gunther. I don't know if the Viking Raiders would be. So that's why I have Imperium. And then the 4th team, I gotta do the New Day. I know it's kind of.
Yeah, you got to.
Give them that last hurrah. I mean, and it's WrestleMania. You got to put the team on there that kind of, they're not as big as they once were, 100%. They still have that crowd. They get the crowd hype. They're fun. And just putting them in this spot just makes sense. If not them, Alpha Academy, because they're awesome. So
I love Alpha Academy, man.
New Day might be NXT tag champs still. So maybe they're not there, and then
pretty
Alpha
deadly.
Academy.
They'd be pretty deadly, man.
Yeah, and I think those 4 teams, a TLC match. You know what? Never mind the New Day. It's definitely Alpha Academy because I want Otis in there as the big guy that's just throwing people around and smashing them through things. I think it would be awesome. It's a nostalgia thing, but at the same time, that's kind of the wrestling that people want to see more of these days, is that kind of high pace, crazy nonsense. So do it. And you could literally have the Usos lose and it wouldn't even
It's a
you have a
TLC
story.
four-way match. Who cares?
You have a story that's immediately right after that, because the Usos can be like, nah, you didn't beat us though. So so it's a great, in my opinion, a great idea to do. Whether or not these guys want to put their bodies through that, I don't know. I think that would be fun. So that's my third match.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Let's put all those that we just talked about on the card, and there's your card. That's night one. We just booked night one for them. But
Bayley versus Becky, man.
I wouldn't be mad at it, but I want Becky to beat Ronda so bad. I want Ronda to tap. That's what I want to see happen. I want Ronda to tap to Becky's disarmor.
See, look, man. I think I always say there's always SummerSlam. You know, I always say that. You know, and there's it's scientific, it's mathematical, it's months away.
It's the truth. He ain't lying.
It's the truth. What does LA Knight say? It's a fact of life.
Yeah, I mean,
oh man. Oh, and Bray and LA Knight are awesome lately, by the way.
Yeah.
Loving it.
So we're just gonna go ahead. You thought we were gonna kick off with the question you had, so we'll just go ahead and get that in right now. Your question you had, and I'll try to get it out in time for us to talk about our best of the week.
Titles. All right, like you said earlier, you said something about titles. So for me, you think there's a problem with how lately I watch wrestling and I'm like, oh, it's not so bad. I mean, no one's going to beat Ronda or Bianca lately. No one's going to beat Roman lately. Clearly, no one is going to beat Gunther lately. And then you got the one title that I enjoy watching more. I'm like, why is this? It's because the U.S. title. Now that they got 5 people, I mean, I think Dolph did some stuff to Theory. And then now you got Mustafa just getting squashed. He's, whatever. He's making a name for himself, doing something. He can put on good matches, but he's losing. And you got Bobby and you got Seth. And I'm like, why am I way more interested when they bring this up? Because the number one contender is Bobby versus Seth. Even though I've seen this so many times. And this has been going on with this U.S. title thing for a while. So the point I'm making is I think it's starting to wear on me just a little bit. Usually I'd be like, we'll see what happens. It's fine. I'm like, was it really because they wanted Charlotte to come back? Was it really because they were waiting to Becky to come back? Was it really? I mean, come on, man. How long are we going to be putting up with Ronda? How long are we going to be having Shayna bite bullets for her? How long is, there's just certain little things. The only thing that gets me by on wrestling, there's plenty of people that I watch that I'm rooting for and that I want to see something play out or something happen. But you got to, for me, all those titles, if you count it in NXT, Braun Breaker ain't losing anytime soon for some reason either, man. But that's like every title besides the United States title. Is this because we don't have enough contenders that are believable? Well, I mean, believable to beat Gunther, that's going to be an issue. I think,
excuse me. I think you have 2 different kind of ways of booking a title. The United States one is kind of booked a little hectic. Like you tune in for that one and you're most excited for that one because you always know something is going to happen. Like it's like
it could be lost.
Someone's going out there with the U.S. title on their shoulder. Something's going to happen in this segment. It's not just going to be someone's going to attack them. Someone's going to do something. The match could be made right there, and then it could switch hands at any point because it's kind of it's the hot potato title at the moment. So it's crazy, it's hectic, and it's unpredictable, and that's why you kind of tune in more for that one. I think when you have champions like Gunther and Roman and all that, as far as week to week goes, you're not that bothered by it because you're not that bothered to tune in, I guess, that much because you're like unless they're interesting. Roman's interesting, so you still tune in for him.
Yeah. I tune in for Gunther because I love it when he talks.
Yeah. Okay, so but if Gunther was taking on Drew Gulak next week, you wouldn't feel like I have to tune in for this. So those kind of champions, they kind of have to build people up and build the program up and get you invested. And then you're more likely to tune into that than just the United States title match, because whereas that one's unpredictable, something big could happen at this one. It's like an attraction. And I talk a lot about attractions, like Brock Lesnar, he's an attraction. That's why you don't show him off every week, because he's not needed there. And then when he shows up, it's like, oh my God, he's here. And it's just a great moment. But you treat people like Gunther as attractions as well, just in a different way. He's there week to week. And again, if he was interesting, he was part of interesting storylines like Roman Reigns is, then you'd still want to tune in because Gunther's awesome. And now he's got these great things going on. But if he wasn't, you're invested in who it is that's going to beat him. And then you're looking at like, that guy can't do it. He won't do it. He won't do it. And then a program will start and you're like, this might be the guy. And then he beats him. And then you're like, son of a bitch. And then you kind of tune in. You want to tune in more because you want to see that guy lose.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
That's how I look at it. And I think that's what kind of happens with the baby faces now, though, is they want the baby face to lose. And they'll cheer them until they kind of get tired of them not losing the title. So they'll start booing the baby face, like Seth Rollins. I think that's what happened with Seth Rollins. People were
Liv Morgan.
Yes, that's the kind of thing I think happens. Is the baby faces with the titles, they have to be really interesting for the fans to be fully behind them anymore. If you're just doing your things, they're just like, we want to see them lose. And then when they don't, because the story kind of tells you they shouldn't, they get mad and they turn on the guy, and then you have the Seth Rollins incident. But I think that's what it is. One's just chaotic, and then one is kind of just built up. You just got to build up the things. And
the build up is,
yeah.
When can I see? And I'll probably be 3 times more excited when I see someone that is
yes.
Roman, which we already have people in mind. Gunther, damn it, Braun Breaker, you need to lose, man.
Yeah. So when they lose, it will be a big deal. I like when they do that. They kind of went away from it there for a while. But it's kind of like the way Attitude Era used to do it. It was a chaotic belt. It just like was bouncing. So you were invested week to week because you're like, what the fuck could happen? What could happen? But the payoff for those isn't as great as the ones that take time. Because you're like tuning in every week. You're like, all right, you lose this week and he doesn't. And then you're like,
well, they're lucky that I might start developing ADD because of this stuff here. Like, they're lucky that there's other people on SmackDown, Raw, NXT that I like to watch. So I'm not completely like, oh yeah, well, here goes Mandy again. And I figured out the reason. I didn't see Isla Dawn. It's because I saw on Twitter Mandy already won that match, so I skipped it completely. Because I already knew, man, like, she ain't gonna lose, man, to Alba. Alba's gonna take a double deuce and just lose twice. And now she done lost 3 times because of Isla Dawn, whatever. But I mean, that's how much. If I know a champion won and I'm pressed for time, I didn't even watch the Mandy match, and I feel ashamed of it because I like Mandy. When she hits hard at the right moments.
Sometimes timing is everything, though, man. You got to prioritize things.
Oh yeah, I'm an adult now. I got time for stuff. Mandy went on Twitter, cool.
Which is kind of what I was alluding to. It's like, oh, that match. Oh yeah, he's not going to lose, so I don't have time. I can't watch that. I want to watch the United States title one. And David put this perfectly. The U.S. title is booked in chaos, and the IC title is being booked as a prestige. So like it's a prestigious thing. Yeah, there you go.
This is why I love David.
Yeah, the one word we did not have there.
Prestige.
And it made a world of difference. And then he says he thinks Gunther and Drew is going to be slotted in for the IC title. I can see that one happening too.
Drew's a big dude. He ain't going back down.
And
that needs to happen eventually.
And if Gunther loses to Drew, it's nothing off Gunther's back. He's going to be just fine. Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit about Trent Seven.
Yeah. A boy from the UK.
I guess he was eyeing the Ring of Honor Pure title last night. Right here. That's Trent 7. So I guess he'll be part of the Cody Ring of Honor. And then he was alluding to what I was talking about with the Seth Rollins thing. Cody will run into that babyface issue once he wins the title, because the story is to see him win it and fulfill his father's dream. What's after that? He could lose it the next night, and it's like, well, you still did it.
Oh man, what a cold-hearted business.
I mean but that's the reality of it. So they got to find something that makes me invested after he wins it. I have faith in Cody, though. I have faith in Cody. Cody puts work into that kind of stuff, so I have faith in it. But all right, does that answer your question? Yeah.
Oh yeah, great answer, man.
Okay,
good answer.
Thank you, Dave.
I know I wasn't going a little bit. I was going a little bit crazy at times, but that makes more sense. It helps calm me down just a bit. So I like it.
So favorite parts of the week. I will go first since you just asked. I'll go first because I'm excited. I couldn't pick a match or a segment. I just couldn't do it. AEW. I didn't watch Ring of Honor. I don't consider that AEW. That's just part of their stuff. But apparently this card was awesome. The show was good. I just haven't watched it yet. But Rampage, which this is hard to do for me. I'm usually just out of it when Rampage comes on. And then I just don't watch. This one I was completely invested in. It was a great Rampage. It was a great Dynamite. We got Mox versus Takeshita. I believe I said his name right. This dude is awesome. Takeshita is awesome. This match was just, it was so fucking good because Takeshita was, he's trying to prove himself with Moxley, and he is giving Mox everything he has, and Mox keeps kicking out, and he's just getting pissed, and he's getting more pissed. And then Moxley finally gets the upper hand. He hits his finisher on Takeshita. That's a very hard word for me to say right now. I apologize. He hits his finisher and he kicks out after one. It's not 1-2 false finish. One, he says, no, ain't happening. And they keep going back and forth. And then Mox ends up putting him out eventually and gets the win. Great match. The story was beautiful. There was no build to it, and it was like usually you have to have a fantastic outing for me to be like, this was a great match, and that's what they did there. If that makes it, because I know people were complaining, it's like, well, why should we care about this match? We've already seen it. Well, this one was a hell of a lot different because dude looked good. I'm a fan of him now. That's went and followed him on Twitter, man. But on top of that, Ricky fucking Starks, his promo, I don't know if you have seen it.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I heard of it.
Dude, this is, again, the first time I've ever seen MJF get outgunned.
Huh.
And, like, MJF was doing his shtick, and Ricky just was sitting there just looking like, he's grinning and everything while MJF is doing it. Then he goes over. He doesn't take the mic from him. He bumps his shoulder. He goes and grabs a microphone, and then he just lays into MJF. It is so damn good. I've watched it like 4 times now, I think.
What did he generally say?
He made fun of the fact that MJF, he has a tired little shtick. He goes, you've taken the easy way out while I've been hustling. I've been grinding. He said, you think you're better than me? And then he started talking about how he doesn't iron his shirt and he's got cheap ass shoes. And Ricky's like, partner. And then he basically, the ending line was something along the lines of, he was, I'm going to do something that no one's ever done for you. And I'm going to go ahead and take the responsibility off your plate. Because he was talking about how he's not championship material because he ran when it didn't go his way, and he complains about this, and he pays people to do his dirty work and this and that, and then he goes, you've never had a real responsibility in your life, and now that you got that title, you don't deserve it, so I'm gonna take it off your plate. And it was like,
damn.
And then MJF kicked him. MJF gave him the low blow, and then he tried to do something else. Ricky bounced off the ropes, gave him a hellacious spear, and then stood with the title. Like, I got back here, I've been putting it into the universe since I got the damn thing. Ricky Starks with the championship. Unfortunately, it won't happen, but still, The promo was amazing. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Seven, the guy from NXT UK. Great match. I know people nitpicking nonsense, but no, screw that. It was a great match. I was invested. And at one point I thought Trent was actually going to beat him. So they did their job. It was a great match. And then the Acclaimed and FTR, obviously that match was going to be awesome. I liked the fact that FTR put the guys over. Even though they're not the champs, they put the Acclaimed over. And it was a great match. I'm an acclaimed fan, like straight up. They might be my new favorite tag team in wrestling over FTR. Their matches are awesome. They're hilarious as shit. They're entertaining. They got it. They're the first tag team outside of the Young Bucks that's been able to kind of grab people's attention on television. So they're doing a great job. And Darby Allin versus Samoa Joe was awesome because Samoa Joe just beat the holy piss out of Darby Allin. Darby was selling stuff that I was like, damn. It made Samoa Joe look good. So that match was awesome. Like Dave said, he knocked his promo out of the Grand Canyon. It was brilliant. Cash is going to be a star. Callis has been eyeballing him for weeks now. He said he just sent you the promo. Great match. And Trent was going to win too. Yeah, it was so... It was
Courtney
so
knows
good.
about Trent. Yeah. She knows about NXT UK. Trent's a badass.
The promos of Ricky's career, the low-hanging fruit is running dry. Yes. Dude. It's the top three. It's the second best promo of the year, in my opinion. That's how great, how highly I think of it. Yeah. So that was my AEW in general. The television was awesome this week. Keep it up, please. And I just have to put this out there since David wants to sit there and talk about this show being the Elite and nonsense. And I don't kick it with that. The Elite ain't nowhere near this name. They were not part of AEW television this week. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but they weren't on TV this week. And I was like, this shit was awesome. But go ahead. What's your favorite moment of the week? Sorry, I had to rant there real quick.
Mine was the NXT deadline. Mostly the men's. The men's knocked it out of the park. That Iron Survivor Challenge. And I wrote down some parts, but I don't want to make everybody suffer. It's basically all the spots that JD. It's all the spots that JD McDonough took to make that interesting. And I know a lot of you ain't gonna go back and watch it a second time. So I son of a bitch.
You set that one up.
I went and watched it for the second time for everybody, so that I can make it very clear. As tidy evidence goes, about 80% of the big moments was because of JD McDonough, whether it was right next to a pin, whether it was that ridiculous Axiom who kind of let go of that backflip DDT towards the end before Grayson goes for a pin. Axiom kind of let go of that, but JD's like, screw it, I'm jumping into it. So he jumped into that DDT, and man, his head hit that shit so hard. The amount of moments that JD McDonough talk about selling and making the match just look so damn good. What's that? Whatever. The story was there where, he got kicked by 4 people at once, for crying out loud. But his biggest thing was, besides some of the great moves he did, was, he did the devil inside to all of them, basically. That's his finisher. Did it to I think it was Axiom outside the ring, did it to him immediately, and then went inside and did it to everyone else. And like, oh, well, here's your moment. And something always happened where he could not get the pin. So that built up enough anxiety and anxiousness through the whole thing. Gacy looked good.
Gacy did look good. The best I've seen him in NXT so far.
Yeah, Gacy looked good. He came out the gate strong. Grayson, God, what a perfect freaking heel. Now who's in your fave 5, bitch? Like, he said that shit to Booker T. Booker T's like, tell me he did not just say that shit.
Shucky ducky quack quack. Just nonsense.
I know there's some nonsense, but I still love Booker because Booker is, even though his voice is so muffled and gruffly, it's hard to understand what he's saying through NXT most of the time. But I'm picking up what he's putting down because I'm a Booker guy, so I know what he means. I know the mannerisms and the voice is coming. But anyways, the match, everyone looked damn good.
Yeah.
You were saying Carmelo was like the smoothest wrestler
it's
ever. I had to rewind it. The part where Grayson Waller got out and was about to throw him in, as his arm was up, he just did this and was behind him like in a quarter of a second. And then he threw his ass in the ring. I had to rewind that shit because I thought he pulled some Neo Matrix stuff. Agent Smith flipped on his ass and threw him in. It was that smooth. And when he bounced off the actual table, when Grayson went back and pulled his ass back, put on the table. He has there's some other wrestlers I know that do this, but when he hit, he kind of bounced. And then he bounced a little bit more and then fell and hit the floor. There's something about their body. I think that elasticity, the ligaments are made of something a little different than regular human beings. The way he moves, I'm going to make a case study for this. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to study tape.
Let me know.
The way that dude moves and how he bounces and hits, like some of the pins he bounced and then he went into a pin. But the biggest part of the night was even in the beginning when it was pretty cool to see Axiom try to kick JD, grabs his foot. Here comes when those three were in it, they were doing some cool shit.
Yeah.
Grabbed his foot, made him roundhouse kick Carmelo in the face. And then the cutter, man, Carmelo did a cutter on JD onto Axiom. Just the shit. Those guys are brilliant. And if Axiom didn't ever get the credit from people who didn't watch NXT UK when he was defending the Heritage Cup or having Heritage Cup matches, that is just what Axiom does all the time. If you saw things in there that you thought like, oh, that's badass, it's what he does all the time. Like he's like Carmelo level in a different way, but his body's made of elastic the same way. It's just something different with Carmelo.
He's the one.
And Grayson, man, what a way to. I'm like, no, he didn't just do his move and literally do his move and pin both of them. I was like, that mother. What a good job, you asshole. And I'm all about him.
I was like, what's up, my dude? Like, that's literally my reaction when it happened. I like leaned off the couch and I was like, what?
He takes it at the end and then he runs around. God, he pushed the chair on Booker. He pushed Booker's chair as he went around him. I mean, that is such a great. I didn't think they would make it look that good and believable from the beginning. We got the 2 pins and got that 3rd pin at the end, ran away. Like, that shit shouldn't have happened. But it worked so well. And I got to say, JD took 80% of the best bumps that night and made everybody look ridiculously good. That's my moment because, man, that was going to be my match of the year, honestly. It was going to be up there in my top matches of the year. It's so damn good. I beg anybody to watch it twice.
Courtney says, Grayson Waller cheated. And then David said, Waller's a heel. He's supposed to.
Well,
he didn't cheat, though. What rules did he break? He locked somebody in the cage longer? Well, get out, dummy. That's part of the match.
Anybody cheated. JD held the cage in on what's-his-face when he was trying to come out. I was like, God dang, that's so good.
Yeah. Bryce didn't cheat. He just opportunist. And I love that. I think I'm almost positive that Booker T said at the end of the women's one, he goes, they need to just get out of the ring and run around and avoid these other ones. And it was like, that's a chicken shit thing to do. But he was like promoting it. And then he had to sit there and eat his words when Grayson Waller did that very thing to make sure that he won. I thought that was really good shit. I don't know if that was planned or just coincidental, but I thought that was hilarious. Courtney said, I hate Waller. That ain't nice. Grayson Waller's awesome. We're a Grayson Waller fan club over here.
I love Grayson Waller. I really do.
I think she told me to win. Yeah, I didn't think she was gonna win. I'll be honest, but
I didn't think so either. But you know what? That was another part that was contending for my moment of the week. I put it on Twitter anyway. Booker T sounded like he was crying. He's like, Vic's like, dude, are you crying? He's like, reality wrestling, because that's his girl who went through his whole thing. And you think about it, that is a proud papa moment. He just watched her win the very first ever and beat all those other women, and including Zoe Stark, one of Booker's favorites, technically. And you know, that he was choked for words. He started saying,
Yeah.
the best moment, because his feelings were getting ahead of his thoughts.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
that Booker doesn't do that, but whatever. It definitely happened right there. Still love Book. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But that was just a good, awesome, good feeling moment, man. I almost teared up a bit. I was like, man, this is actually pretty cool. Booker made that moment even bigger than it was. So props to him for that.
Courtney said Carmelo should have won. I think they're saving Carmelo for WrestleMania weekend. Stand and deliver. The Breaker versus Carmelo. That's the match you need to do that weekend. There's no bigger match you can have on that card, on that roster.
So you don't think Grayson has a chance to be the slide?
No.
He's not going to beat Braun.
Not going into the. I'm trying to book NXT the way WWE books things going into WrestleMania. You got to put the things on the bigger names. As I was saying that, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was last night during the show. Breaker and Mello are your number 1 and number 2 guys since 2.0 became a thing. So
yeah.
You have to have a match that defines that era, and this is that match. So it makes sense to hold it off to stand and deliver. If we don't get that match and Mello gets, called up beforehand, I think that would be absolutely crazy, but it could happen. But I think they're saving Mello Breaker for that. That makes sense.
It makes sense. That was kind of teased with how, Melo's been talking lately, because it's the one thing. He's the champ, but he hasn't got that championship. So, and it hasn't happened. So it needs to happen. You're right. Yeah.
Power Ranger guy looked good too. Yeah, that dude's good. The gimmick is
That's
just
Axiom.
I don't. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, he's good.
I almost lost my thoughts about him. Is that David that said that?
He's just making a joke.
All right. A Kid is the legit.
No, he's legit. That's just a stupid
dude.
gimmick. It's not good.
I'm okay with it. The dude.
It's okay, but it's not going to go anywhere. That's my thing.
He can't speak, dude. Like, his accent is so thick. When they did the thing with Grayson Waller's time, he was so thick. I mean, freaking Mello called him a nerd. He's like, nerd. I was like, that's some cold shit, man. But anyways, whatever. I love it.
The most fluid wrestler to come out of NXT. Yeah, that's right, straight up. I don't know if it's because he's that much better than everyone else on that show, or if he just really is that damn smooth. It's crazy to see like someone move that fluidly and be that good.
I'm telling you, I've been looking at it, and I'm telling you, his body is made of something a little bit different. Dude. The way his movements are, it's some next level shit, man. I'm telling you, again, the Matrix thing, when he took Grayson Waller's off so quickly and threw his ass in there.
Yeah.
All of his other moves, I'm telling you, the dude's got some rubber somewhere in him.
There's no holes in his game.
No, there isn't. You really don't miss.
He's by far the best thing on NXT. He's entertaining, and he can go. He sells. He checks all the boxes for me.
I'm gonna say JD McDonough too, so I'm not gonna not say JD McDonough.
That's fine. I did tell you that I'm very impressed with his selling.
If you're ever bored on a rainy night and you just need to watch that shit again and watch 80% of that shit is nothing.
I noticed
Devlin making it happen.
I noticed it. I think his spots were like the high moments of the matches.
Yeah,
and I think it's because of the way he sold things and how he goes about his offense. He's very interesting in the ring. I don't know. There's something that he's missing for me.
It's the personality thing. That's why he's just kind of weird, his personality.
Yeah.
All the other weird yoga shit. But he is, whatever. If you ever watched it and saw it, you understand a little better. But I know he probably ain't going to grip anybody on day one. Like, there's no way people are like, oh, man, that's the dude. People are going to see Mello like, that dude's sticking out. I understand completely. But this is someone who's been watching him for a while. So I know why he sticks out and why this character's going to work. I don't blame anybody for watching him the first time being like, oh, man, that dude's a star. Personality through the roof. I get it.
Isla has the same powers as Evil Alexa. Poor ref. Yeah, man, that sucked for him.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Isla Dawn, though. That's the first I've seen of her. So I was impressed with her.
That Saito suplex was awesome.
Yes, it was. Need to watch. I know, Nick. Oh man, I really wanted to watch it live. Don't you hate when you miss those moments? You're like, I need to watch that one. I need to, and then that gets spoiled, and I'm like,
no, it's happened to me before.
that
Yeah,
moment's
it pisses
gone.
me off because it's something I
Yes.
need to watch live.
Yeah. Weller's a more athletic Miz with an accent. Absolutely. And that's why I like him. I think he's more entertaining than the Miz is right now.
He is.
100%.
He's definitely more entertaining in a different way. He takes credit when they call him a copycat of Miz. He's like, that's a compliment. That's literally what he said.
She said he literally ran up the clock. Yeah, well, he was sliding into the ring, out of the ring. They were sliding in the ring and out of the ring. They were doing the same thing he was doing, so that's not cheating. That sounds like they were all trying to gang up on him, and that's cheating. It's supposed to be everybody for themselves.
It was brilliant. Mello tried to jump on Devlin, who was out. He pulled Devlin's ass and he couldn't pick his ass too.
And it was funny.
It was so well done. I don't care. I loved it.
It was so funny. So they've done the boat rides already. I'll do Braun and Waller go.
Oh, not the boat ride thing again.
You know what? I don't care where they do it because Grayson Waller is funny and entertaining, so it's going to work.
Oh yeah.
Like if you wanted to do Grayson Waller in Apollo Cruz's roles in those two segments, I think I would have been fine with it. Apollo Cruz isn't going to sell me on a promo. Grayson Waller is. It's going to be funny and it's going to be fun, entertaining.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead, go fishing with Braun, man. He even said something about that. He's like, does that mean I get to go fishing with Braun now?
Is that what Grayson said?
Yeah, I think he tweeted it today.
Damn it. Their whole world's going to call it out. It was kind of the way that package went. But I feel bad for Apollo, man. Yeah, he's just such a likable dude. He came back just to win this title. To lose it? Now what? Now what, Apollo? You can't go to WWE and your tail between your legs because you failed. So he goes back to NXT looking like I think you said it, looking at Wes Lee or something else. But man, I feel bad for his ass, man.
Maybe that's just his journey.
Going crazy. Like
maybe that's just his journey though. He's just one of those guys you really, really like, but he's just not. He's always just going to be one step behind where you think he can go. That might just be his journey as a wrestler.
Well, I know he has a limit. I mean, I thought when he was with Commander Aziz, the limit was higher. I loved him as a heel, man. And then they cut that shit pretty short. But
yeah, they didn't give it time to breathe at all.
He didn't need Commander Aziz really at most of the time. He didn't really need to be there or whatever.
Yeah, but it gave it a presentation, though. I think they gave up on it too quickly. I don't think they promoted or they had it on the show enough either. I think that hurt it a little bit because you might not see him for like 2 weeks in a row. So it's
I know he has a limit, but you know, I just like him. He's just such a good guy, man. That's all.
I did think that match ended like flat. And I'm noticing that happens with a lot of the Braun Breaker matches I watch.
What do you mean flat?
Like it comes out of nowhere, but not in like a wow way. Just kind of like they're having a match and then boom, and he wins, and it's like, what? There's no build. There's no build up to that. There's no build up to it. I don't know if that's intentional or if I don't know, but I don't like it.
I agree.
I don't want to hate Braun Breaker. I like him. I think he has a lot of potential, but the endings are just weird. Because I thought we were getting right into the build to the end when he won. Like he bounced off the ropes and he hit the spear, and I was like, oh, wait. And then I was like, oh, he'll kick out. And he didn't. I was like, what? That was weird. Maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. But
no, I felt the same way. Like a little bit of air went out of my own lungs.
Yeah.
I was like, because I knew something was off. Like that's not a great way to end it. There should have been a little bit more. You're right though. I noticed it.
Braun matches have the feel. Here's what I memorized. I feel like the last few times I've watched him, he's gotten a little bit better at not seeming robotic. Kind of feels more fluid with what he's doing, and it's not, this move, this move, this move in order every time. Like I see a lot of kind of younger people do. They'll have a nice set of moves and they'll literally do them in order every single match. And it's like, you can't do that. But Braun's not doing that recently. The last few matches I've watched, he's changing it up and it seems more natural to him. But he's probably memorizing certain spots because I don't know. Yeah. I hope that's not the way the match is supposed to feel like when it ended, because that's not a good feel. It's like what? I feel like I was robbed here.
Yeah, I feel like Apollo had a bit more to go, and I feel like Braun had to throw some more suplexes or some more shit in there, and make me feel the excitement before the excitement was starting to build. You're right. It just boom, kill the excitement. It's over. So you're right. I noticed the same thing.
Yeah.
Come on, Braun, Mr. NXT champion. Come on, man. Just go to WWE already, man. Just go there and let Melo take the title, and then JD. Come on.
Listen, I'm curious to see what him and Melo can do.
Yeah, Melo is money. He's going to be good.
Commander Aziz isn't in. Yeah, he's still there. He's still there.
He is? Catering?
Huh?
Catering?
Yeah, he's because he was gonna do that thing with Cora Jade, but then that just didn't happen.
Yeah, that happened too. Yeah, it's weird.
So I'll just ask one more question. Do you think Roxanne is the one that's going to beat Mandy Rose?
Well, she damn well better because Corey ain't doing it. Well, no, seriously. Corey ain't doing it. Zoe already kind of had that going. I think Zoe can do it, but whatever. It's just for some reason, no. And like they're pushing really hard her little baby face power. I mean, they're trying so hard. I mean, if you thought of an underdog, I think she can. Whether she's going to beat her soon or maybe the next time, I would say, yeah, screw it. Because you look at the NXT Women's Locker, there's not much. I mean, you got, what's her face, the Surfer Girl, who did that amazing finisher, Solo Ruka.
Yeah.
She's too new. You got Alba Fire, who's still trying to find herself and tie her shoes again for the third time. Yeah, man, shit ain't going to happen for her. Isla Dawn, she just got there. Ain't no way it's going to be her. Indy can't get a W, but God damn it, I was hoping Indy won tonight, that last night, and then
that was my choice
because her promo at Mandy was good, man. It was like I don't give a shit, like it was awesome. So yeah, you might as well do that, man. I don't know.
And then you can do the Roxanne Cora Jade program at Stand and Deliver, and that's your biggest women's match you could probably do.
I want to see it happen sooner, so I can see
not based on talent or anything, just the story that those two have. It would be the most interesting story going into your biggest show of the year.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't stop showing Cora's face of disappointment that Roxanne again had another big moment and not her. That's the story. I'm sorry, Cora is very green in that ring, man. Very green. She ain't gonna have a moment like Roxanne, or like whatever. But there's still a story to go with that, I guess. But I'd rather have a really good baby face, and right now she's the only big baby face.
Yeah. I definitely. I would be absolutely shocked if Roxanne isn't the one that beat Mandy Rose at the next pay-per-view. Not even Stand and Deliver. What's the next one?
I think that's it. I think it's February 4th or 18th or something like that.
Right, because Stand and Deliver is the WrestleMania weekend one. So
well, that's WrestleMania. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, by then Mandy's got to be.
I know there is one in February, and I think Roxanne should be winning the title in that show. I think Toxic Attraction needs to go up to the main roster like now.
No, they need to go and just because like they're bringing in Eva Valkyrie, they already got Isla Dawn, and they got Solo.
There's never going to be a better time to do it than right now.
Tiffany Stratton's coming back. They got Wendy, she's good. I mean, you got enough stuff, dude. Push her up, and let her keep the title. Let her hand it down like freaking Keith Lee did. I don't know.
Yeah. Cora has a lot. I agree, but I'm just talking about based on the story of it. And when you have a heated rivalry, you can kind of mask that kind of stuff up with brawling, and it makes sense because of the story. So
it's what they've done.
It's not the best match they can have, but it's the best story they can do. And again, those are the ones you do for this big weekend. That's the WWE's. That's what WWE wants to do, is have the biggest things this weekend, so it can be the greatest weekend of all time. And Triple H will definitely want to try and do that with this being his first official WrestleMania weekend. So Cora going after Roxanne makes the most sense for me as Stand and Deliver. So Roxanne has to be Minnie Rose.
Yeah, just let it happen. I'm good with it.
And she needs to go up already. Thoughts on the possibility of the Kana character possibly being done? Please and thank you. That's Asuka's evil.
Oh,
that she did Stardom. I think in Stardom.
Dude, I love her. I love her as the Empress of Tomorrow in NXT. Man, she would be awesome as a heel.
Yes, and she looks evil.
Oh yeah,
it's a great look. So yes, please do it. Why not? Give her something so she can be part of the show. I don't like seeing her like just disappear for long weeks at a time. Mania tag match: Tegan and Liv versus Dakota and Candice. Maybe.
Wait, Dakota teaming with Candice LeRae?
Yeah.
He said Dakota. Tegan and Liv versus Dakota. Does he not mean Io?
He might have met Io. Unless Candice joins Toxic
well, that was he may be onto something, because that was the thing. They were bugging her about that. So
I don't know. They'll probably do a 3-4. They'll probably do like a 4-way tag one for the women's tag titles at the show. That's what they usually do. And that's when you put Toxic Attraction in there and have them win. There you go.
Because they are hella interesting. They have great promos, man. They're good TV time.
The ones that never seen a con match before we have. Yeah, the presentation is phenomenal. And we already know Asuka is awesome in the ring. So that's not a problem at all. But we'll wrap it up there. I was just trying to get through all those comments. I wasn't ignoring y'all. We just got caught up. But I will be back on Wrestle Buddy Raw Recap tomorrow. That will be me. So you can see me there. And next week on this one, I got a schedule showing up this week. I'm not going to leave y'all in the dark. We're going to be talking about our favorite moments from the year of 2022. Because I really enjoyed this year of wrestling, and I want to talk about my favorite moments. So that'll be next week. Anything you'd like to say before we roll on out, Tidey?
Bailey versus Becky, please. WrestleMania.
You heard the man. Just give him